Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Mic'd Up Sports. Normally, we bring one guest at a time. Typically, that's how things work out. But since my two guests have been teammates for such a long time and are practically inseparable, we thought, let's bring them together at least one more time until they become teammates, perhaps at the college level. They won't be teammates at the high school level, but rest assured they will be cheering for each other frequently. We've got Jordan Odie of Maple Grove and Addi Mack of Minnehaha Academy. Both have one thing in common. They are the all-time leading scorers at their respective schools. Although, Addi, I think you have the edge when it comes to total points. Jordan, I think you might have to pick things up a bit if you want to catch her.
I think she's got me on that one.
Well, we appreciate the two of you coming together. Have the two of you ever gone back and forth about who the better player is or who might win a game of horse? Do you ever get those backyard scrimmages?
A little bit, we just we've been with one another for like almost 8 years now. Like we've played with each other a lot, so just, we'll kind of nag each other a little bit in practice, go back and forth.
We do a little trash talking. We guard each other a lot of the time, so it's just a great time.
Yeah.
Well, you were telling me the two of you will get to play each other in the high school season, so has the trash talk already started?
Already, yeah.
It started a long time ago.
Started the AAU season. We were already talking about it.
Yeah.
AAU season, that's hilarious. You were talking trash even though you were supposed to be playing together?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
Practice is getting tense.
I was like, I hope that didn't affect you when you played games.
No, it didn't.
Well, if you don't mind, how did the two of you first meet? Because you're both in the same class, but if I remember right, Addi, you started at North Tartan before going to Fury, or did you start somewhere? I know AAU, you can pretty much go anywhere, but do you remember the first time the two of you met?
We both played at North Tartan. Well, what year did you come?
It's like 6th and 7th grade year, I think.
I played there for like 2 years, and then she came my third year. And then we played 2 years together at North Tartan. And then she left a year before I left to go to the Fury. So.
And I was trying to recruit her a little bit at the Fury when she was still at North Tartan. So I'm glad she came over.
Yes.
I've heard you've also been trying to recruit Addi to join you at Michigan State in a couple of years, or next year now.
A little bit, but I'm worried she might go to the other side. Go blue.
And if you're wondering what they're talking about, another Fury comrade, Olivia Olson's at Michigan. So Jordan and Olivia, Addi, I don't know. I'm guessing the messages you get between those two.
I have to pick a side. Right?
I could see, I could see you going to just an entirely different school, maybe in the Big Ten, now that all the West Coast schools are in there.
True.
Yeah.
I could see you just doing that, just maybe just mess with the two of them. Have you thought about doing that?
Yeah, it's just really fun just to have both people, regardless of where I go. I know a lot of people that play in the Big Ten, or whether that's just other really good schools. So I'm just excited to, wherever I land, get to hopefully play against my friends. That will be really fun.
All right. Well, we'll have to stay tuned to see if Jordan or Olivia are more successful at getting Addi to join their teams. And Addi, I know you're still sorting out your college decision. How has that process been like for you? I know a lot of folks will usually make their announcements sometimes in the spring or around this year. How has that been for you? Because I know you've been fielding a lot of offers these last couple of years.
It's been good. My main focus of just this past year was just to focus on having a really successful AAU season, and I think that's what we did. Obviously, making it as far as we did in the Under Armour finals, but I've just been very blessed just to have as many opportunities as I do, and it will definitely be a tough decision, but hopefully I'd like to decide ultimately before high school season starts. So have a couple months left, but then hopefully I'll have made a decision.
Well, Jordan, if you don't mind, if Addi goes to Michigan State, would you mind sending me a scoop?
No, I would.
I tease. I want to make this clear. I say this all the time. No matter where you go, it's a big deal. So whether it's Minnesota, Michigan State, or wherever. Jordan, you made your verbal commitment early. I think it was your junior year.
Yeah.
Just this past year when you said, I'm going to go to Michigan State. What led you to make that commitment early compared to Addi? What was it about Michigan State that stood out where you said, hey, I found my place to play ball?
Yeah, when I went on my visit, it was actually just It was kind of a normal visit for me. It kind of felt like every other visit, but this one was actually 2 days instead of one. So on the first day, we went to practice, visited the campus, and I really liked how close the living space was to the gym. It was just like a short walk, which was really great. And I really, really liked my teammates that I would play with. I met a lot of the younger girls, a lot of the freshmen and sophomores that I would play with when I go there. So they were great. And then on the second day, they kind of took me through what a day would look like playing at Michigan State and like through workouts that I would do in the summer. And that was kind of what made me fall in love with Michigan State, just their dedication to getting their players better. They showed me some stats from like players in 2023 and then 2024, how their stats grew, which I thought was great, and I really liked that side of it. So those were some of the main reasons. And then Coach Freilich, I love Coach Freilich, so.
I have to remind myself they did change coaches recently after Susie Merchant was there for seemingly forever when I started following the sport. So going back, when did the two of you start basketball? It sounds like you two met not long after that. And how would you say your friendship has grown and evolved, even if you might end up playing for different colleges, since Addi is still to be determined here?
Yeah, well, I started playing, I think it was like first grade. When did you start playing?
Same grade. Like we just always played when we were young.
Yeah, but then she was actually on Eden Prairie travel, and I played obviously OMGBA travel, so we would play against each other every single year.
I think we beat you.
Yeah, they did beat us in travel, but
we were good.
So it's okay. This year though, Minnehaha.
Yes.
Uh-oh. But yeah.
Jordan, would that explain why you tried to get Addi to join your AAU teams at Fury and all that?
That's exactly
You were sick of her beating you all the time?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Do you remember the first memory the two of you have playing against each other? Well, it sounds like you do, Jordan, with all the lumps you had to take from Addi and the like. But what do you remember? I'm guessing at 6 or 7 years old, your skill set probably not as developed as it is now. But what do you two remember from that first meeting? And did you have any idea it would turn into something where you've been backcourt mates on the Fury for a long time and go to all each other's games, all of that?
Yeah.
I didn't know, we didn't really know each other. Obviously, we played against each other when we were young, but I think, when we started actually playing AAU, so a couple years later, maybe 4th or 5th grade, we'd play against you guys. Mm-hmm. And then just, when she came over to North Tartan, I think our whole family's just developed a really strong bond. Our parents are really close friends as well. So just ever since then, we have been really good friends, even if we haven't been on the same team all the time.
Yeah.
What would you say would be the scouting report? What from that first time, or what you can remember if you don't remember that first meeting? How would you say the scouting report on the two of you would change? What you thought of Addi, Jordan, and vice versa?
Yeah, so the first meeting, we did do little scouting reports, we would do a little team meeting before we played, and she was called the little quick guard. So I didn't guard her because I was pretty tall, at that grade level, so I didn't even guard her, but I just remember her slicing through defenders and scoring all the time because we couldn't guard her. But yeah.
Yeah, well, I'd say, we've developed a lot over the years.
Yeah, I agree.
But Jordan was always, she played really hard. Kind of you were bigger at the time, so I don't know, you didn't play guard right away. Mm-mm. So we've both changed a lot, but it was always just fun to play one another.
So how would you try to stop Addi then at that age, or were you just okay, let's go focus on someone else?
Well, see, I didn't guard her, so that was that's someone else's problem. So,
Did you feel that way about Jordan, Addi? Maybe you didn't guard against her, but seeing how tall and how mobile and fluid she was, where you're I'm glad I don't have to deal with this person here?
Yes, I think I was the same way there.
Well, suffice to say, I think I'm glad the two of you have developed a stronger rapport since then, because, well, what's that scouting report going to be when you play each other when Maple Grove and Minnehaha square off? What is that going to be like?
Ooh, I got that matchup. I'll be guarding her.
I can't give my secrets yet. I have to save them for our match.
All right. Spoken like a true athlete, Addi, even though you won't have to worry about playing Jordan in state.
Yes.
It's like you still don't want to tip your hand in any way.
No, I will be ready when that day comes.
You know what's going to happen? The two of you are probably going to watch all the game video that I've done in the past and go like, okay, Addi can shoot from range and Jordan can do all this. So you'll probably just watch all my video and go, yep, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I feel like I won't even need film with all
yeah,
I've played
we
with
know
you.
each other, so.
So the one time you won't need film then. It'll just...
Exactly.
Who were your role models in the sport of basketball? And this could be anybody, high school, college, pro, family members. There are no wrong answers. But as the two of you embraced the sport, who are the players you looked up to?
I'd say for me, just like playing varsity when I was in 7th grade, like Paige Beckers, obviously. I just remember going to a bunch of Hopkins games because I was just this little girl, like looking. I remember my first interview ever I had with you. I was like, all I want to do is be like Paige Beckers. So it's just crazy to see like how far I've come since then. You know, obviously how far she's come. But then my favorite player ever is Steph Curry. So definitely him. He's one of my favorites.
For me, growing up at Maple Grove, probably Jordan Lamker and Abby Schulte were two of my favorites when I was really little. And then when I got older, my all-time favorite players are Kyrie Irving, Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark, obviously, and then Kalia Copper recently. She plays in the WNBA, but she's a really good player, and I kind of model my game after how she plays. So those are just a couple.
Over time, how would you say the two of you grew into your roles, grew into your game? When did you get the feeling that this sport wasn't just something the two of you could do for fun, but a sport that could take you places? And, well, in both of your cases, it has. It's gotten you to Michigan State. It's going to get you to a camp in New York, Jordan, next weekend. And Addi, it's gotten you to one of the top scorers all time. And by the time, fingers crossed, if you have a great senior season, who knows, but you have a chance to, I think, finish with the second highest total. I know Tori and Madden are not far behind, but the two of you have made a lot of history over these last few years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have. I don't know, when did you realize that you were actually like, I'd say just when I started playing high school. Like,
Yeah.
You surround yourself by older players, and like you always end up like running into players. Like I remember I played like Mara Braun. We'd play Hopkins in scrimmages. So they have all those like collegiate level athletes. And you know, you kind of feel good about yourself when you're a little 8th grader and you score against them. So, you know, just like by playing older people, I think that's when I realized that, you know, I could play in college. That'd be really fun for me.
Probably same with me. My 8th grade year is probably the year that I realized. We played Mara Braun was the first game we played, so Wayzata was the very first game I played varsity in. And I think she dropped 40 on us, and I was like, okay. So I have a little bit of work to do. But that was kind of a surreal feeling, like getting to play against her and like getting to play with Kennedy Click at the time. So that was probably the first time I realized that the game of basketball could take me pretty far if I wanted it to.
I do remember that, Jordan. I remember hearing a lot about you, too, at an early age. When did you start varsity ball?
8th grade year.
8th grade. Okay. Yep. That would have been, holy cow, what year would that have been?
2021.
Yeah.
Okay, so the COVID year. So
yeah.
With the mask.
Yeah.
Right?
We had,
I
like,
know that's so crazy to think that was.
Yeah.
So, and Addi, you mentioned, I do remember that interview because I've mentioned this, you might have heard me talk about this with the games I've covered of yours since the move to Minnehaha, but you and Jordan, I guess, have ushered in this era, I feel, where a lot of young guns, you know, Madden, Greenway, Tori Orline, two players I think you're highly familiar with too, came in at an early age. Chloe Johnson started as a 7th grader, and when I began covering the sport, it was rare to see 7th, 8th graders become impact players right away. So I remember going to that game, Addi, because I'm thinking, who the heck, who's this 7th grader? Where did she come from? And then I saw what my colleagues were talking about. I'm like, okay, this kid can play. What do you remember, though, for the two of you suiting up for varsity that first time at such a young age, going up against some talented players like you spoke of? You know, you started as a 7th grader when Paige was a senior, and I know, Jordan, you came in the following year. Adalia McKenzie was a senior, and you mentioned going up against Mara Braun. I know Maple Grove and Wayzata, they play each other every year.
Yeah.
So what do you remember that first time the two of you suited up for varsity and having to do so against all of these veterans?
For me, I just remember, well, Claire Stern was my bench buddy at the time, because we didn't start. So we would sit the bench to start the game, and I was just happy when I heard my name called because I knew that he was putting me in the game to defend the best player. I wasn't really there for my offense to start. So I would just go in the game, guard the best player, and keep them from scoring, honestly, as well as I could. But that's kind of the first thing I remember. I remember being pretty nervous, but it was good to have Claire there with me, so yeah.
I think for me, I just developed a really strong relationship with like the older girls on my team when I played at Blake, and they just did a great job of welcoming me in, kind of like explaining how like high school level sports work. But it definitely was a lot different because I was just used to playing like travel basketball until 6th grade. So to go like right from that to starting on varsity is definitely a bit of a jump, but just I think my teammates did a really good job of helping me through that.
So Jordan, what were you doing in your 7th grade year?
Playing travel.
Playing travel. Okay, so you were still on the travel circuit.
Yep, and then I would go to Addi's game. I remember I went to one of your games.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, was it that Concordia game or was it another one?
No, I think it was a home game.
Yeah, I
for
think
you
they
guys.
came to one of my like first games.
Yeah.
My whole was it my AAU team or was it
I don't remember.
Eden Prairie? Well,
Yeah.
it was a bunch of my friends came. So
Yeah.
All right, so you were probably dominating the travel circuit for one more year, but
Yep.
the two of you did have a difference in trajectory. So Addi, I remember seeing you at Blake, and then I've gotten to know your parents quite well. I've discovered over the time, if you interview athletes, their parents will start looking for you. Not just the two of you, but everyone else. They're all like, hey, who's this guy that interviewed my kid? But you decided to go from Blake to Minnehaha from 7th to 8th grade. So what led to the change for you? I remember your parents, or I think your mom actually talked to me and watched one of my past interviews, which said played a part in making the move. But what led you to go from Blake to a school that had a pretty strong reputation in girls basketball?
yeah, well, we had played Minnehaha 2 times when I was at Blake. We had 2 really actually close games with them, and they were way more talented than our Blake team was. But I think I just like developed a relationship with the Suggs, obviously just from playing them. And then, Coach Pryor, he reached out, I think, after the season and kind of just like played with the idea of like, oh, maybe I could come to Minnehaha and be like the next Mia Curtis, like be her little replacement because she was graduating. And our family, like we met with him. I went to like an open gym or so at Minnehaha, but we just felt like it was a good timing, it's a really high academic school, just like Blake was, but they just have a bigger influence on their athletic programs. So I think just like that combination really was enticing for me to make the switch when I did, and I have never regretted it. I absolutely love Minnehaha, so it's been great for me.
So Jordan, while you were cheering Addi on in your 7th grade year, I mean, this seems like a silly question to ask, but what is it about Maple Grove that has kept you there for all these years? I'm guessing you live in the area, which helps.
Yeah.
But what stands out about Maple Grove and the impact you've been able to make since you suited up for that first time as an 8th grader?
Yeah, I mean, Maple Grove is just kind of the place I grew up. I grew up going to their kids' camps back in probably 1st grade is when I started going to the kids' camps up through 6th grade, and then I started going to the morning mayhem workouts every morning in 7th grade. And Coach Cook, honestly, I met Coach Cook my 7th grade year, and he was just great from the start. I really trusted him, and that really helped me in my development overall in that transition from 7th to 8th grade year when I played varsity. I really trusted him and trusted him with my game. So those were kind of the main things. And then my teammates too. I've played with my teammates all the way through travel and now at Maple Grove. No one's really moved away. So it's just been really great to play with them all these years.
Addi, for you, is it surreal going in, because I am still good friends with your former coach, Matt Pryor, who I think is still coaching AAU, and I would see him at some Minnehaha games these last couple of years as a fan now, but He spoke with you about maybe being the next Mia Curtis. So is it surreal that since you came in, you have not only surpassed her record, but I think every other scoring record at Minnehaha? I don't want to say people are going to be striving to be the next Addi Mack, but whatever your goals were, it seems like you've surpassed all of them.
Yeah, well, I'm just so lucky I've had great teammates at both schools, but, like my best friends played with me at Minnehaha. I've played with so many great players. Obviously I played for Coach Pryor for 3 years now. I lose track. But then obviously my new coach, Coach Damien. I've been so lucky to have great people surrounded with me. And, my main goal is still that state championship. So there's one thing that is left on the table, and hopefully I can accomplish that my senior year. That'd be great.
Me too.
I was going to say, I know Jordan your team got close. That was an accomplishment because all the years I've covered Maple Grove, they've had some strong teams and just couldn't get over that hump in sections. Until this year, and then you gave everyone a run. You gave Hopkins a run to the semifinals. That Lakeville North game,
crazy.
Yep,
that was so fun.
I was going to say, who got that game-winning bucket?
Claire Stern.
It was Claire.
Yep.
Oh yes, I was like, I knew that name would come back as soon as you said it. So, your bench buddy from 7th grade gets the game winner.
Yep.
Is that one of your goals for next year, Jordan, to get a game winner yourself in state, or are you just going to feed the ball to Claire again?
Well, gone now, but honestly.
Oh, that's right. So you got to step up now.
Yeah, honestly, it doesn't matter if I get a game winner as long as we win the game. I honestly don't care. So either way.
Well, I guess we'll see. You know what? I'm not going to rule that out because I'm not the one playing or coaching. I don't have to. I get to go along for the ride and enjoy every moment of it. For the two of you, though, what do you think goes into being prolific scorers? Addi, I know that was one of your strengths even as a 7th grader at Blake, and then every year you've led your team in scoring. And Jordan, I know maybe you don't have as many 30 or 40-point games as Addi does, at least not yet. Maybe this year, right? This senior year?
You never know.
I can't let you catch me.
I could see it now. We're going to have a showdown where, you both, you've had 53 points in your last game? That's... Yeah. I could see it now. The two of you are just going to
light it up.
Light it up. It's going to be a game of one-upsmanship or something. But what goes into being strong, prolific scorers? How would you say you've evolved in that aspect where the two of you can turn into that big threat at almost any game? Because, Addi, I've seen you drop 30 with regularity. And, Jordan, I remember the Providence game where you had 30 in one of the biggest wins I think they had this past season.
Yeah. For me, it's just a preparation before the game even starts. All the work I've put in during the summer, all the work I put in before the game, that's what helps me really become that scorer that honestly I've become. Like in the game, I don't really think about scoring. I think about getting to the basket, getting my teammates involved, and I have great teammates around me, so that also helps me like get to the basket, that sort of thing. But in the game, I don't really think about it. It just sort of happens for me. But again, I have great teammates around me, and they get me more open because they know the game of basketball. They know when to move, when to set me screens, when they need to score too. So that sort of thing.
I'd say for me, just like I'm so confident with my basketball playing abilities just from all the work I've put in. Like, big thing for me is like I'm not going to let anybody outwork me. So I think for both of us, like we're always in the gym, always like lifting weights, just watching basketball too. I think that's a big thing about how you can gain so much more basketball knowledge just by watching other people. But obviously for me, I think a big thing is just like my mental preparation before games. Like I have a routine, like I'm very locked in to the game, scouts, whether like it's who we're playing, who I have to guard, just everything, like just really being in tune and ready for tip-off. I think that has really worked in my favor.
I know most players don't look at their box scores or worry about stats after a game, but when the two of you reflect on your successes so far and you see all of the records, all of the milestones you've accomplished, what do you make of that? What do you think it says about you? And maybe how surprised do you get, or what is your reaction when you see, oh, I had 30 or 40, or in your case, Addi, 50 points, 53, I think. Yeah, I think the last couple of years you've had career highs in the final state tournament game.
Probably close.
Something like that. So, Jordan, I know you're probably aiming for a 50-point game yourself, just so that Addi can't claim to be the better player. But seriously, how did the two of you react when you see what kind of impact you've had with your respective teams?
I think for me, I don't like to think about scoring. I've found that if you just focus on other things, whether that's getting rebounds, kind of the intangibles, just working hard, having fun, just playing with your teammates, and just really trying to win the game, I think that scoring comes so much easier. Obviously you have to have certain qualities, you have to be able to shoot, dribble, all that kind of stuff. But I think it's just really the other things that you think about when you're playing that can obviously help you score. But sometimes I'll just look at the box score after the game. I'll be like, wow, it did not feel like I had that much. Or sometimes I can be like, oh wow, I felt like I had a lot more than that. Maybe I didn't score as much as I thought. But I just try not to think about that as the main thing.
Yeah, I think honestly we're just playing the game we love, and the stuff that comes with it is amazing, but neither of us are really focusing on all those accomplishments that we are sitting. They're all great, but I don't think either of us are really focusing on that as much as just winning games. And we both love our teams a lot, so we just like to kind of have fun with our team, and it's always fun to win too. So
most fun thing ever.
Exactly. So I would say those are the main things. Yeah.
Spoken like true athletes. How would you say your games have evolved? Because when I first covered you, Addi, you were known primarily for your scoring, and this past season we really saw you step it up in rebounds, assists, steals to become more of that versatile player. And Jordan, I think you were talking about this even from traveling days. You have that same vibe about you as well. I can't look up rebounds or assists as easily, but I can tell you have that signature, that flavor about you where I know you can put up a lot of points, but there's a lot of other intangibles. How would you say the two of you have diversified your game over these years?
For me, especially in the rebounding column, that's kind of what I've been focusing on these past few years. So rebounding is a big thing for me. Assists is a big thing for me. I think all the intangibles are things that I've really been focusing on, especially with being that scorer for the team, because we need someone to do it, especially not having a post this year. Both me and Bella Hanna are going to have to step up in that rebounding category. And then offensively, just being more aggressive and being confident in the skills that I have. In the past, I've kind of shied away, especially my 8th grade, my freshman year, that sort of thing, just not really trusting the work I've put in. So being able to trust it now has been super helpful and makes the game a lot more fun for me.
I'd say for me, just, being at the 2A level, we face a lot of different defenses, whether that's face guarding, box and ones, all that kind of stuff, which, it can make it harder to score. So you just really have to focus on rebounding, especially for me, I think my assists have really grown. Just, really focusing on the IQ of the game, knowing when to make the right pass, or just kind of situational things. I think I've really grown in that area. And then just my defense as well. I think I've gotten obviously taller, and I've gotten a lot stronger through my lifting that I have been doing. So I think that has really paid off for me on defense, especially being able to guard really high leveled players. And I think that's what's good about AAU. We play on the Under Armour circuit, we play so many really, really amazing players, and I think that has really helped both of us kind of, see kind of how we can improve our games, what areas, and we've been pretty successful.
You got those big gains now, so
yeah,
we're good.
We've been pretty successful against some really good players, which has been good.
You gave me something I wanted to touch on here when you join up, and I know AAU, I've said it's sort of that fun environment where you get to mix it up. You're still competing, you're still taking it seriously, but what I enjoy, or I've said, it's kind of that fun what if, hey, what if all these players could mix it up together? What would you get from it? So the two of you being on the same club for several years, whether it was North Tartan or Fury, how did your friendship evolve from that first time you met where Addi was torching everybody, your team included, Jordan, to the point where the two of you, I think, are repping that backcourt and are always tagging each other. You might as well be teammates, because it certainly feels that way on Fury, but to have all of those memories, to have those moments together, How much has that meant to the two of you?
I think especially at the Fury, we really grew in our relationship because we had to depend on each other and play with each other, which I think we're the best duo in AAU personally.
I agree.
But we play so well together, and our games complement each other so well that's part of the reason we were so successful in that last Under Armour session. We both just were able to play off each other so well, and that made it the difference.
Yeah, I'd say for me, like that was one of the things I was most sad about after AU was over. Just it's the relationships, and me and Jordan have just really developed a really strong bond. Like I don't know if we've ever like actually argued with one another. Like our relationship is just so like healthy, like teammate wise, and we've had so much fun doing it. Like there are so many fun memories that we have together. So it's been great just to be able to play with her. Yeah.
Well, if you don't mind, what do you gain when the two of you play with each other versus playing against each other? You know, because as you've said, you play some top-tier opponents in Minnehaha. You've got the annual series with Providence, and I know they play a pretty loaded non-conference schedule too. There are a lot of strong teams in the mix, and I know in your case, Jordan, the Northwest Suburban has some solid teams, and they're always scrapping against the Lake Conference teams, and then Providence this past year. So when the two of you join forces, how does that enhance your games, knowing that, okay, I can go to Addi and I can let someone else worry about how quick she is, or I'm guessing in your case, Addi, you've got somebody who can score, rebound, do all those things.
Yeah, I'd say it just really like diversifies the court. Like so many things open up for me when like Jordan's on the floor, and I'm sure it's the same vice versa, but I think it's just really hard to guard both of us. Like I think we found that not a lot of teams can. Like you know, a lot of teams have like one really good, strong player guard, and like obviously we're both guards, but our games complement each other so well. Like we've never had kind of like headbutting like with like, playing with one another, so it's been great.
Yeah, and I would just add that teams often have just one really good defender, and they have to choose who they're going to put that really good defender on, and the other person's going to go off, and we understand that. Like, I think it was the West Virginia game, Addi was getting face guarded, and she was like, I'm getting face guarded, just go. Yeah. And the lane was wide open just because she's a threat out on the floor, and they decided to guard her. So I think it just depends on what the teams are going to guard, and the other person's going to score, basically. Yeah.
The two of you have said never an argument or headbutting. Have there ever been any disagreements with the two of you? Maybe not game related, but I'm not looking for conflicts or soap opera stuff. Yeah, that's not why I asked, but have there ever been moments where you've had to sort through a situation, sort through a problem, and find a solution?
I would say for sure on the bench, just because we're so competitive. Like we want to win the game so bad. So we'll talk through like what the best thing we need to do is, and sometimes we might have a different idea, but we always come to a conclusion before we check back in so we can fix it for our team.
And like we take every situation head on. So if like there's something that I see, I'll just go up to her, whether it's like during a free throw or something, I'll be like, okay, I think we should do this. And I think we both do a good job of just listening to one another. Like obviously she sees the game differently than I do, so we'll try to do whatever we can do to win. So just like having two brains work together is better than one.
And what about outside of basketball? Have you had any things in common or disagreements or just things outside of it in terms of, I don't know, who might be better at this thing or other thing? I'm just curious, like when you're not playing basketball, what happens with the two of you and and that dynamic?
Yeah, well, during the AAU season, we play cards together, and we're always competitive when we do that.
Mini
golf, always competitive. We're always keeping track of score. Addi did beat me in mini golf, but I beat her in cards, so we're even. But yeah, no real disagreements, I would say.
Yeah, and we have so many things in common, and I think that just like our outlook on basketball, like and kind of how that is involved in our daily life is very similar. So we have a lot of things in common. So hopefully we can stay friends for a long time. But I'm just so thankful that Fury brought us that relationship that we have.
Yeah.
Jordan, I'm wondering if you knew in mini golf, like you're going up against somebody who won, that national chip?
Drive, chip, and putt.
Yeah, drive, chip, and putt contest there. Like you're going up against a ringer.
See, I golf a little bit too, though, so I thought I could still do it.
Mini golf's different, though.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. Mini golf might be harder than real golf.
Yeah.
Because
True, you're dealing with obstacles that normally don't appear in golf courses.
Yeah.
And I think the last time I played, we just abandoned the score and we're just starting to goof around our folks. So we're like, this is supposed to be fun, right? So we just threw everything out the window. So what kind of card games then have you played?
We played slapjack. A lot of slapjack. That was really fun. Go fish.
Yeah, we did a lot.
Yeah.
We tried to play poker. That didn't work out as well. We didn't have good poker tips on our trips, but we did a lot of stuff, just as a team as well, because we got along so well.
Yeah.
Have you tried getting Addi to play ladder ball there, Jordan?
I have not. Claire loves ladder ball.
That? I don't
It's
even
like
know what that is.
it's the yard game where you have
where you throw it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe next spring, since you won't have AAU, we'll have to figure out some
ladder
sure.
ball
sort of
tournament.
competition, ladder ball, or. Well, and if you don't mind, I was curious about other activities because Addi, I know basketball is what you're known for, but I understand you did golf and swimming. And Jordan, I don't know if you played other sports, but I'm aware of your background in band, even though to this day you refuse to call yourself a band nerd. But what are some other activities the two of you have taken up, and how do you think that has helped you stay on top of things, stay in tune, and maybe remind yourself that there's a lot more to this than the number of titles you win or the number of points you get?
For me, obviously, I like to golf with my family. I love to be outside, so I'll be swimming a lot in the summer. That's one of my favorite things. But I was active as a kid. And I think especially for kids, I think they should play as many sports as they can just to, keep up, see where you excel in, but also just you learn so many different things through a bunch of activities. And I hate to sit around. I just love to be active. So I will always be trying to do something. I don't like when I don't have basketball. So.
Same for me. When I was a kid, I played a lot of sports. Soccer is really the one I stuck with, soccer and basketball. I played that until 6th grade, but then basketball became a lot, so I had to quit soccer. And then recently, I think it was 8th grade and freshman year, I ran cross country. I thought that was really good for me and just my overall mindset and conditioning. Those were two of the main things, but I ended up quitting that for lifting just so I could get stronger, honestly, for the college level. So now I'm just lifting, playing basketball. I train little kids. I have my own training business, so I do that as well. OHH basketball, if you ever want to sign up with me. But it's just so fun to take a step back and really see the training side of it, see the coaching side of it. That really helps me understand kind of what coaches have to go through and what they want me to do. So it gives me that multiple perspectives, and I just love little kids, so it's just fun to train them. Yeah.
Now I'm curious. Has Addi ever come to you for band lessons? Because you play saxophone.
Saxophone. You never have.
I never have.
Might have to teach her, though.
Okay, and then has Jordan ever asked you about swimming lessons or golf? Well, I guess the two of you play mini golf. It's a little different. But has Jordan ever asked you about working on that golf swing?
No, unfortunately not.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get a little golf going with our coach, Tim. He loves to golf as well. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll do a little tournament sometime.
We were talking about doing a little golfing, so maybe.
We thought that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I did a top golf session once, and let's just say I had my work cut out for me. I felt really proud when I could hit I think I got the ball 50 yards on a chip. It's okay, if I just need a little more practice. You actually realized all the technique that goes into it that you wouldn't think about. So fun little fish out of water story. On the training side, Jordan, you've been doing that OHH camp, and so I guess has Addi ever come to you for camp lessons, or maybe have you recruited her to be a guest instructor? And then what have you learned about that, doing this little side business, I guess? You get to connect with kids, but you're probably learning a lot, too, about entrepreneurship and what it's like to be a coach and have to navigate and mentor all of these personalities that your coaches are probably used to.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've definitely talked to Addi about being a guest because the kids would love her and they'd love to have her for an hour group session. So we've definitely talked about it, and we'll have to make that happen.
Yeah.
but I'm looking to do marketing at Michigan State, so it's been really good to just get that entrepreneurship side and see the business side of things. So it's been a really good tool for me and a really good learning opportunity for me to do as well.
When did you start that? What led you to take it up, and how do you think that might continue? I know you'll be going to Michigan State, so you might have to do more long-distance stuff with the Hannah twins if you want to keep that going. But how do you see that evolving?
Yeah, so we started it back in 8th grade during COVID year because all the gyms were closed, and we were like, well, we have to find something to do. So it actually started with us. We called it OHH basketball because we would train with each other outside in my park. So we would train with each other, and it was called OHH basketball. And then when we got back to being inside the gym, we were like, we could do this for kids, if we really wanted to. And we were all looking for jobs at the time because we're just turning into high school. So we started it, I think, actually started freshman year. And it's just kind of grown from there. We've developed a lot of kids, gotten more kids. I think we're up to 25, 30 kids. So it's been really good though, and it's grown a lot since our 8th grade year.
And as you head into your senior season, you both talked about wanting to win state. I think that's a goal for any team that's in the running. But when you think about what you've been able to accomplish for yourselves on the stat sheet and elsewhere, what do you think it says about the growth, the journey the two of you have taken on, where Addi, again, you're maybe in position to at least get the second highest scoring total in state history. You were one of 26 to score 3,000, which seems like a lot, but when you think about how this sport has grown over 50 years, that's a pretty impressive list to be a part of and have a chance to add your name to so many other lists. And Jordan, I know even if you don't get to 3,000 or 4,000 points, you've had your share of moments too. So just knowing what the two of you have accomplished and what's ahead of you, what excites you, and what do you think it says about the investment the two of you have put in?
I think that we've just put in so much work, so I think that any accomplishment that we've received has just been a testament to our work ethic and just preparation. And it will be sad. I really have enjoyed my years playing high school basketball in Minnesota, but I think I'm really excited for the next chapter as well, and just to continue playing basketball for as long as I can. But it has just been really special. I think that just our time, we have, not necessarily us, but us and a bunch of other really talented players have kind of elevated Minnesota girls basketball as a whole. And I think that's just been really cool to see how on a national level, people that come from Minnesota are really actually noticed now, and really good high-level players. So it's just been really, really special in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. We're going to be seniors. I feel like I'm still back in 8th grade, but just a testament to our hard work. Honestly, all the accolades we've gotten and received have just been because of our hard work. We haven't necessarily set out to get them, but they've just kind of come to us because of the hard work that we've put in. And we've really grown in our games. I've grown in my faith a lot. Just trusting in God and trusting in His plan has been super, super helpful for me. So yeah, really looking forward to my senior season and then Michigan State.
A couple other things came to mind as you were discussing it. Early on, you were mentioning some of your role models. Who are some of the people you've gotten a chance to meet? Because I know, Addi, you had a chance to meet Paige when she was a senior before she turned into a national, or I should say world famous name now with all the stuff she's doing. But I'm guessing the two of you have had a chance to get to know some notable names in the sport of basketball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, obviously Jalen and Chet. It's just been really cool. We had
going to the same schools. Those two probably helps.
That's it. Yeah, we had like the Providence game this past year. It was sold out, crazy environment because it was Chet Holmgren's jersey retirement. We had one for Jalen the year before that, but it has just been so cool to obviously have gone to the same school as them. I was at school 1 year with Chet, so just to have a little. We still, I'll text some of them, sometimes. So just to have a little relationship with them, it's just, really, really amazing.
I don't know any NBA players, but I know Rachel Banham, WNBA. She recently got traded, though, to the Sky, I think it is. But I knew her when she was on the Gopher staff. She recruited me a little bit, but then once she left, she actually goes to N1 Motion where I lift, so I'm able to talk to her whenever she's there, which is really fun. And then, like, all the players in college, Kennedy Click is a big one for me, and then, like, Claire Stern and Ava Cassette, they're in college now playing basketball, so just a lot of college athletes I know pretty well, a couple overseas players, so yeah.
Have you and Kennedy traded any smack talk yet, since the two of you are going to play each other in a couple of years?
We have not yet, but I'm sure we're going to, especially because we're going to get to play another year like against each other since she unfortunately tore her ACL, but I'll get to play another year against her, so that'll be pretty fun.
Yes, right.
If you don't mind me asking, Jordan, what do you make going into a conference that's going to have UCLA, USC in the ranks? So not only, well, you don't have to worry about Caitlin Clark, I suppose, but you're going to have to face the likes of Kiki Rice, I think, potentially, or Lauren Betts, or Juju Watkins, and who knows, some of the names that are in connecting states. But you're going to be getting quite a challenge, I think, Jordan.
I mean, I'm excited for the challenge. Honestly, I want to guard all of them. I want to guard every single one of them. But just really, really looking forward to it. They've been role models to me. I watch them on TV all the time. So getting to play against them is going to be great. And hopefully we can come out with the wins.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm wondering, have the two of you been approached by people? Because I remember, Addi, you said, I want to be like Paige Beckers, and being starstruck when you got to see some of the older faces do what they were able to do. Has anyone come up to you and said, I want to be like you when I grow up?
I think just like, if you ever see like some little kids will come up to us, like we do a youth night at Minnehaha, so we've gotten to have a bunch of younger athletes come there, but it's always special, like especially some of the younger girls that I've met through the Fury, like they'll come up and like run and give me a hug after they've watched one of my games, and I just think that is just so cool, because they're kind of in like the position that I was in, and just to see kind of how the tables have turned there is just really cool to me.
Yeah, same with me. We have youth night at Maple Grove, and then having that OHH training, all the little kids are there all the time. So even if they may not say it, they're always watching you. They're always like honestly mimicking what you're doing. So it's really crazy that they're now looking up to me, and I used to look up to all the older girls before me. So it's kind of just setting that example and like thinking back to what my younger self would be thinking in that position.
Well, I do have to state for the record, I have not come across anyone who has said they want to be like me when they grow up or tries to mimic my commentary. So I think I have a little more work there. But how gratifying is that when you get kids that come up to you and, like you said, they may not say it to your face directly, but I think both of you are aware that you've got people watching you just like you were watching Paige and Adalia and all of the names that were big deals when you were growing up.
I think it's just really special, honestly. Just having all those little kids there supporting you and knowing they're there to watch you is like crazy to me. It's insane. And they want to play for Maple Grove, like inspiring them to play for Maple Grove, and that entire coaching staff is also just super special for me. So.
Yeah, I think for me, obviously my coach, Damien, he has his own training academy, so I'm just super lucky to be able to like even train with young girls that may be looking up to me. So I think they think that's pretty cool. But then also for me, just to see like younger people who have a love for the game and just want to get better, that is just so cool. So I'm looking forward to, just keep continuing in that direction. Hopefully I can stay in touch with some of the younger girls I've built relationships with, but it's just great.
We touched on this a bit, but are there any other fun or interesting or unheard of talents that the two of you possess? Because I think this past season I dug a little bit into your saxophone skills, Jordan and Addi. I know you and I have talked about all the different sports you've taken up and all the other activities, but any other fun facts about the two of you, whether it's through yourselves or playing together, what else is out there that we should know about?
Jordan brings a quesadilla maker
I do.
Every AAU trip. That is her thing.
Yep, I'm like a chef in my hotel room.
Yes,
basically.
that is
Yep.
a secret talent for Jordan.
Yeah, but Besides that, I don't really have a lot. But yes, I do bring a quesadilla maker because it's hard to go out for food a lot when you're on AAU trips and you have a rental car that you can't drive. So I do bring a quesadilla maker, and it's like my little pregame meal. So, yeah.
I am wondering, Jordan, do you have any favorite numbers or songs that you play in the saxophone?
Careless Whisper is probably my all-time favorite to play on the saxophone. But besides that, I could probably play anything you put in front of me, if I'm going to be honest.
All right. Well, maybe after next season, we'll do that. we'll
Addi
go to
can
Jordan's
play like
place.
the keyboard or something.
Yeah.
I was going to say, have you played any musical instruments, Addi?
When I was very young, I played the violin, and I played the piano when I was younger, but not
Okay,
anymore.
so we just need to refresh your piano
Yeah.
skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Careless Whisper. What is it about that song that?
It's got like the best saxophone solo like ever. So, and it's easy.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I was laughing in part because my mind goes into pop culture mode, and it's also one of the favorite songs of one character known as Deadpool
Okay. Yep.
from the first film. They reference it, so it's like, okay. So we just need to find a piano player or vocalist, and you can do your own cover of
Perfect.
Perfect.
a
Yeah.
1980s. I would not have guessed a 1980s pop song would be your favorite to play on saxophone.
Yeah, it's the whole band knows how to play it. So.
I could see it now going into next season when the pep band at Maple Grove. Well, I don't know how often they play. It's gonna lead into some rendition of "Careless Whisper."
Please.
Come to our
Yeah.
I guess, Addi. Well, sounds like it's been a while since you played instruments, but what would be like a big surprise or shock if like your teammates or your fellow Minnehaha family, if they were to spring something at you? Because I've gotten to know a lot of them over the years. So I'm wondering what would be something that would get your attention.
I don't know, honestly. I don't.
If they turn the gym into a swimming pool,
Yeah,
maybe?
that'd be nice.
That'd be really difficult.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I don't know where you'd store all the water, but
Yeah.
all right. Have you ever done any competitive swims, or you just do that recreationally?
Yeah, I used to be a competitive swimmer. That was like my main sport when I was growing up. So ever since I was like 6 months old, I was in the pool until I was like, I don't know, maybe like 13 or 14. I got a couple of like state medals. So I actually was a pretty good swimmer. But unfortunately, like that schedule is just crazy. So there's really no way that sport and basketball are compatible, like at all. You just cannot do both of them. So I had to pick, and I picked basketball.
All right, so Katie Ledecky's records are safe.
Yes, I guess they are for now.
I was going to say, well, if you and Jordan ever have any disputes, you could challenge her to a swim-off, maybe.
I'm down. I used to swim too. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Her mom
geez.
swam at the
Yeah.
U of M. So.
My mom was a swimmer.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Are there any other sports that I should be aware of that your parents took up?
My dad played baseball at St. John's, actually. So, yeah.
And what about your folks, Addi? Or were you like the big sports person?
My dad played basketball and golf in college. So. Yeah.
I see where your interests came from. All right. Oh, I've got so many different ideas now. That should be it. After the season, what do you think? We'll have this
A part two?
A
Yeah,
part two
yeah,
where we just
perfect.
do all of these random activities, and I don't know who the winner would what title or prize we give the winner, but I don't know what distances would you do in swimming?
I do all of them, like 50, 100, 200, 400, 500.
I'm not going to do the mile. That's the only one I'm not going to
Yeah.
do. So,
Okay, so all of the short distance events.
yep,
Yes.
exactly.
So we just need to find a pool.
Yep.
I can see it now. That's going to be all the rage on TikTok, Instagram. Who's the better swimmer?
Yeah.
So I guess we did touch on this. We were exploring or trying to answer this question. I don't want to say who the better basketball player is because I think the two of you have slightly different skill sets, but yeah, how do you settle who the better whatever is?
We play a lot of games.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
You two are willing to do anything almost.
Exactly, yeah.
We'll do some half-court shootouts,
Yeah.
like pig. We play 3-up.
Yeah.
Sometimes in practice, we'd like keep track in drills, like who's made
Who's made more?
more shots.
Yeah, we do that. I feel like we've played like every game.
Yeah.
We've played like one-on-one with our team, like one-on-one rollout. Yeah, we've played like
the
everything.
shooting,
so,
like
yeah.
literally everything.
I just thought of something because since the two of you are proficient in almost everything, maybe water polo, or like water basketball.
That'd be pretty hard.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be hard.
I'm just saying it would put both of your talents in swimming and basketball to
It's
use.
true.
We'll do an
Perfect.
underwater version
Yeah.
and see who comes. Oh my. You can answer this however you see it, but throughout your time in basketball so far, what would you say was the most exciting moment and most embarrassing moment?
For me, most exciting is definitely the Lakeville North game at State when we had the buzzer beater when we were down 1. Most embarrassing. I gotta think. You say yours. and I'm gonna
Most
think.
exciting, we've had some really exciting games on the Under Armour circuit. Like even this past year, or this past tournament, we had 3 like really, really close games. So those are all really exciting. Just have like the whole program sitting on your bench. I just love intense environments. So we've had a couple of good Providence duels the past couple of years. Those have been fun. I made a buzzer beater in the Christmas tournament. I think you might have been maybe you were the day before, but when we played Lakeville South 2 years ago. And I had to get stitches after that game. So
I remember, yes,
Yes.
I remember that. I was covering that one for NSPN. You hit a buzzer beater to force overtime.
that was exciting.
And that's right. You think, I remember because I went to some later games and I saw you were still like bandaged up. So it was the Lakeville South game where you got
Yeah, I
hit in
got
the
a little
chin?
nick on the chin, so I had to get stitches that night. It's okay. It was worth it. We won the game. So. What's embarrassing for you?
I mean, I've airballed. I've hit the side of the backboard on a 3. What else have I done? I've done a lot of. Oh, I've gotten crossed. I have gotten crossed. That was embarrassing.
I was going to say, I would hope you didn't forget your basketball or brought your saxophone by mistake to a game.
Yeah, no.
So that's never happened. Okay.
No, thankfully.
That's
That'd be
funny.
crazy.
I don't know what an embarrassing moment would be for me. I mean, like, I don't think that, like, airballing and that, like, everybody does it.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Exactly.
can't be too embarrassed about that.
Yeah.
Have I ever done anything, like, really
I know.
weird?
I'm trying to think of what you did.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe one of those card games or something.
Yeah, maybe that. Like,
Maybe it
my
was one-
slow reaction.
Yeah. Oh,
Losing to Jordan
definitely
in a card
that.
game.
Yeah.
Or what happened now?
I just have I did. I got better.
Yeah.
My reaction skills, like you have to slap the cards. And sometimes my arm would just be a little slow.
It was like 4 times in a row. She'd be the last one.
Yeah, but I got better, so I'm good now.
I think we found your not weak point, but I'm like it took you 4 times to get the motion down.
Yes,
Because I
it
would
just-
think, Addi, your reflexes, considering what I've seen you do in basketball, I was going through and forgot about that. Well, until I remembered, I forgot you pulled off that no-look pass
yeah.
to Angel in one of your games. I'm like, wait, she's got that down too?
Yeah.
It was late.
Yeah, it was really late
Really
at night,
late.
so my brain was just tired from the day.
You were probably thinking how you could top that no-look. Right.
Yeah, that's
you,
what I was
You were
thinking.
like, how do I get a no-look to Jordan and forgot to slap the
I was thinking that.
Who would you say has been the toughest player you've ever had to go against?
I'll name a few. Adalia was really tough. Mara Braun, Liv McGill was really tough for us. Nunu was, like, we couldn't guard Nunu because we didn't have anyone to guard her. I think she dropped like 30, something like that. But those are a couple that were really tough.
Yeah, I'd say all those Hopkins people, because we played them
Yeah.
my freshman or sophomore year, so they were all, like, their whole entire lineup was, like, really
was insane.
high level.
Yeah.
Yeah, who else? Like Nia Holloway.
Yeah, she was
I used to
good.
train with her when I was younger. But then also, like, when I train, I play with some guys that, like, are pro overseas now. So guys are definitely hard to guard.
They're quite hard.
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
makes you better, so it's really
Yeah.
fun.
So have you ever gone up against like Jalen or Chet?
No, I'm trying. Hopefully, when they come back, I can get maybe a little shooting competition.
you
But
go.
otherwise, I think I might get dunked on a couple times. So
They do have a little bit of vertical, I'll give you that. Those are some, I'd say, fitting answers. When you mention all those players, I'm going into my memories like, yep, Nunu, well, look what she's doing at Stanford, and Liv was just fantastic. I was wondering if you might mention Madden or some of the Providence players because you've had to play them 3 times, I think, in the last couple of years with your conference games in state. But
Yeah, we've played them a lot. It's just a really good rivalry, I think, and I'm just looking forward to this year. I think it will be fun to have maybe 2, definitely maybe 3 more games versus them. So,
is that going to hit you? Is that going to be another thing that hits you, Addi, being done with this rivalry with Madden and Providence? Because when I covered the state tournament, I remember talking with my partner at the broadcast booth going, how many times have those two played each other between AAU and high school?
Yeah, well, it's just honestly great. I think that rivalry has grown a lot of attention in Minnesota, and it's just been great to have, we've had some of, I bet, the busiest girls basketball games in the past couple of years there through both of our teams and both just how we both play. So it's been fun, and I talked to her off the court. Everybody probably thinks that we hate each other, but we actually don't. Obviously we get to know a bunch of people that we play against, so it's just been really fun.
Well, the two of you don't come off as people that hold grudges against others.
No.
And I've covered some of those rivalry games. I've never saw that. And Jordan, for you, any rivalries that will be bittersweet for you? Whether I know the Northwest Suburban changed up their conference rules, so you don't always play everyone twice. But what are some things you're going to miss or realize? Oh, this is the end, or this is the end of one journey, I should say.
Yeah. Well, our non-conference schedule is going to be really tough this year. And the games I'm most looking forward to are probably Hopkins is going to be really good, Minnetonka, Eden Prairie, Minnehaha. I'm really looking forward to that game. So, yeah, I think, but the realization I don't think is going to come until probably sections and state when we really get to that ending point. I might cry on senior night. I'm not really sure yet, but that's going to be really sad. So those are probably a few. Yeah.
Did the two of you know if you have the same senior night?
Hopefully not.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
Because then you're right.
We can
I'd
go
say
to one another.
Addi could come and then, well, I don't know, either stop you from crying or just have you just go on. Who knows what will come in your senior year? Again, I don't want to predict who's going to win state because so many things can happen between now and then. But when you think about everything you've experienced up to this point and all the history the two of you have made and all the connections, all of the opportunities you've had to leave your mark on this sport, when you factor all that in, what would you tell a younger version of yourselves?
Trust your training. Trust all the work you put in. Don't be nervous because there's no point. Honestly, it's just wasted energy because what you're going to do out there, regardless if you're nervous or not, is going to be the same. It doesn't matter, and nerves just will lower your performance. So don't be nervous. Just go have fun. Go have fun and enjoy the game of basketball because, it'll end at some point, and for us, it's ending right now. So.
I'd say just you have to pick something that you're passionate about and just play because you love something. Don't play because you're forced to play it. But I think just that passion that especially I have for the game has just carried me so much further. And I'm sure it's like that for a lot of people. But I've never been mad that I've had to go work out. I've never been not wanting to play basketball. I always want to be in the gym. So I think just I hope that everybody can find something that they love to do that much.
And who knows if the two of you will be teammates again, whether it's in college, pro, or down the road. I don't know how far this journey will take you, but what would the two of you say to each other, knowing that your AAU ride is done and at least for the foreseeable future, you won't be on the same team. Of course, you'll still be rooting for each other, but what would the two of you say to each other in terms of the impact you've had, not just on the court, but outside of it? What do you enjoy most about having this best of friendships here?
I'd say it's just being teammates with Jordan has just made me such a better player and person. And even though we probably won't be playing on the court soon together, it's just we'll be friends for the rest of our lives, and there's nothing that can break that. So very thankful for her.
It's crazy, honestly, that we're done playing together. Addi's such a good player, and to play with her, and it makes me a better player too because she sees the game so much differently than I do because she's a point guard and I'm a 1-2 guard. So being able to pick her brain and see what she sees on the court has really helped me and helped me in my game as well. But she's probably the best player I've ever played with, and
It's
so sad. But yeah, I mean, I'm really sad that we're never gonna play together again, but it's been a really great experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Again, you might be on the same college team, or maybe there's a pro-am team, or
Yeah.
Seriously.
I'm just saying, don't write it
Pro-am.
off just yet. See, there could be all sorts of opportunities to join forces, but
True.
I guess what's your biggest takeaway? Even though your high school run, or I should say your youth run, your club run's done, what's your biggest takeaway? What is cool about having Addi as one of your best friends and vice versa?
Ooh, probably just her energy. She's probably the most energetic person I've ever met. And that's really good for me because sometimes like I'll come to practice and I'll be like super tired or whatever and she'll be like, let's go shoot. And I'm like, okay. So that's probably the biggest thing, just her passion for the game and her energy all the time. And I love that so much because I have that passion. I just need someone else to have it with me.
Yeah.
So that's probably the biggest thing.
I'd say for Jordan, just like her competitive spirit, like every single drill in practice, she is giving her 110%. And just to have somebody to play against in practice, but also play with, like those qualities really rub off on you as a person. And it's just been great to play with somebody that, cares so much, like you care so much about the game of basketball. So that's been great.
And this might seem crazy to ask, but is there anything else about your stories in basketball or elsewhere that you would like to touch on?
I don't think so.
I think we did a good job.
Yeah. Feel
Yeah.
good.
So I think we've established that the two of you are highly fluent in basketball and are willing to challenge each other at just about everything else, from
Exactly.
swimming to golf to card games and
Yep.
ladder ball. Well, saxophone, maybe you might have
You
that
can
one
have
down,
that one.
Jordan.
You can have that.
Okay.
Eddie will give you that.
Yeah.
Well, this was a reason I thought, hey, let's have the two of you on one more time as teammates, even if we don't see the two of you wear that same jersey. Just a reminder that it's not just about the titles you win or all of the rankings or all of the offers that you get, but all of the friendships and memories. It sounds like the two of you have many of them. Are there any favorite memories from your AAU run together?
The water park last year is
That
one of
was
my
so
favorite
fun,
memories.
yeah.
It was after the Run for Roses in Kentucky, and there's like a water park right next to the facility. That was so fun because I think it was after all of our games were over. So we just got to kind of enjoy the rest of our day with our team. So that was pretty fun.
Yeah, I'd say I just think winning with
Yeah.
Jordan has been so
Seriously.
fun. Just how excited we both get.
Yeah.
We have so many cute pictures of
Yeah.
us just celebrating one another. So that's been great.
The championship was probably my favorite too. That was another one. So
Well, I'll have to see if you add any more memories, even if it's not as teammates, to this senior season that's coming up. But whatever happens, I'm glad you took some time to share your stories and highlight how powerful friendship can be and how that can speak far more than whatever happens in basketball. I won't complain that the two of you win state. Of course, I don't pick one team over another. But if you get there, it's like, hey, great. But if not, I've had a lot of fun getting to know the two of you over all these years, from seeing Addi as this little seventh grader. And I do remember you have gotten taller, Addi. Maybe not as tall as me, but it's I'm not having to look down. Or I'm not looking down as much as I used to. And Jordan, well, you've already,
yeah,
you don't look down to anybody, or I can.
exactly.
No, but it's not just your physical height, but how tall your presence is outside of it. I can tell when I've interviewed you how strongly you go to bat for your teammates. I remember, I think it was with Ava, who was a little shy about her Spanish fluency, and you chimed in and said, yeah, this kid's at level 5 Spanish. How's that for a fun fact?
And then she couldn't think of anything to say in Spanish, but that's okay.
It's a little harder when we try to put you on the spot
Yeah.
like that. Something happened years ago when I had Mia Curtis on, because I think she and others went to a Spanish immersion school, and she couldn't think of anything right away. And I don't do that to have them prove it. I'm not worried about
Yeah.
that. It's more like, hey, let's remind people you're not just cyborgs that only play basketball. There's a whole lot more about you. Like I said, I'm almost as excited to see what the two of you could do out in the pool now or the golf course. You've given me a lot of great ideas, but I'm glad you shared a few of your ideas with us. And I just hope whatever happens that the two of you stay healthy so that I can call you a few more times and come up with some more one-liners for your fantastic playmaking.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you so much for
thank
having
you.
us.
So Jordan Orty of Maple Grove, Addi Mack of Minnehaha Academy. You can see them play each other sometime in February, weather permitting, of course, all of that. And otherwise, I'm sure you'll have plenty of chances to see them as high school athletes as they get ready for that transition from the prep level to the college level. So thanks again, Jordan and Addi. And if you've got a story, we're happy to share it. So until next time, thanks for watching.